Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to episode 60 of the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. And it is a momentous occasion on episode 60, as it's the first time we will be in both sound and vision, a revolutionary development in technology over 40 years ago, probably over 100 years ago, has allowed us to do this. So if there's something you want to see more of, give us a like and a wee comment, a polite comment below. It should be stated this is not an invite for any abuse, hopefully that's for sure. Anyway, on this week's show we'll be discussing all things Betfred Cup. Been away for the last 3 weeks, so it'll be good to kind of discuss the competition that no one else is discussing, usually our bread and butter. And we'll also be talking about the upcoming European fixtures and why Aberdeen have been droning on this week, as well as the Hibernian game you might have missed. Pun there if you saw the game. We'll also be covering Rangers, how we think we'll get on, and we'll also have a wee open-ended topic at the end, so discussing like Adam Rooney's move to Salford City. Who knew that Rooney would be reunited with the class of 92, weirdly? Strange coincidence there. As well as some other news. So, joining me, Scotland's ropiest announcer Paul, and as you can see in the background by my football kits, Fly Emirates fanboy. Alongside me will be my co-host Darren.
Hello, Paul.
Where have you been for the last 3 weeks? What's happened?
Oh, just away partying and all
Partying?
That, yes.
Hard life.
a lot of alcohol.
Scouting in Magaluf again, were you?
Oh, yes.
No talent to report back.
Always has.
No footballers, unfortunately. And joining us as well, John, it's the hardened football fan who's wearing a bizarre football top tonight.
Nah, I'm totally unbiased.
Big Falkirk fan. You've been attending some of the Falkirk Betfred Cup fixtures.
Indeed.
That's cheered you up, I'm sure, has it?
I will. No comment.
Oh, well, we are pleased to be back, and thank you very much for joining us. So, let's get straight into things, shall we? Right, topic number 1, the Betfred Cup. It's been going on for the last couple of weeks, and 3 of us actually sat down together for the first time in ages to watch a full 90 minutes of football.
That's true.
To watch what was an enthralling game, Dunfermline against Dundee, or Dundee against Dunfermline I should say, over in about 5 minutes. And I think Jackson Longridge got the goal. And I think the key talking points from this game, we were considering Dunfermline perhaps to be Championship League contenders. So the question I put to you guys, is that still what we think?
I still think they'll be up there, to be honest. I know it wasn't the greatest game in the world, but you need to remember they were playing a Premiership club, so yeah, Dundee might not be top of the Premiership, but still, it's...
Who knows, Darren, the season's yet to begin. What are your thoughts, John?
Men's game by any stretch. I don't know, I don't think they'll be challenging quite as high as Ross County. I think they are my picks.
Oh, really?
They're just loaded with money. It's ridiculous.
Always helps.
Top 4's a reasonable aspiration.
Yeah.
Title challenging's a bit too far.
I think they would be pleased with more playoff games. I thought what was interesting about Dunfermline from my point of view is that, unlike Falkirk, they actually make the 3 at the back thing work. With some, quite enthusiastic and energetic fullbacks. I thought Jackson Longridge was fantastic, and I think Ryan Williamson on the other side also had a great game as well, and they've really made that work for them. But another former Falkirk player, Miles Hippolyte, ruins the whole thing at the top end of the pitch with his abysmal finishing, quite frankly.
Nothing's changed.
Bring back Stevie Crawford and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I think my tip, though, well, what did we think of Dundee, actually?
A work in progress. They don't care. It's all about the league for them. Survival, first and foremost.
True.
Got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and even more now after...
that game.
There were 3
injuries in the one game.
3 in one game.
Very unlucky.
Some interesting players, though, they've brought in. That was it Marenga? Looked quite good.
Yeah.
Kusunga? Oh, I don't know. One of them.
You're just making up names.
Well, I remember Mendy.
Yeah,
I do remember Mendy. Darren jibed that he was, the same guy that plays at Man City. Not quite, but they had some interesting, exciting players. Of course, Faisal helped back at Dunfermline, so that might sort the Miles Hippolyte thing.
He might even come back to Dundee, given that Musa's injured for so long.
Oh, who cares about Musa, though? Chris Sutton was singing the praises of Marcus Haber. Of all people, I was like, you've not been watching the game for a while.
Yeah, he's a decent player at that level, though.
Yeah, I suppose. Better than Musa.
Have they said how long Moose is going to be out? Like, or?
Who cares? Doesn't matter. He's rubbish. He's absolutely pants.
It's not that bad.
He's okay.
He was good in the Betfred Cup last year. Beyond that,
Yeah.
I think he just struggled with service. That's his biggest issue. That's what McCann's trying to sort. He's trying to get a centre mid that kind of works more. I think they look okay at the back. Not brilliant, but okay.
Yeah. Multi-million-pound Stephen Cocker on their books.
I think O'Hara's a great player.
They missed Scott Allen a wee bit, I think.
Nah, he never fitted.
No, not at Dundee.
Just a wee bit creative.
I think it's a hard job. I think everyone at Dundee always eventually gets sacked.
A hard club.
Yeah.
United's worse. We'll probably get to that, but they should be comfortable enough to stay in the Premiership. I think mid-tables, the top of the bottom six is a good kind of benchmark for them. So we'll see how they get on.
I'd be happy with that. Not worth giving up my Sunday for when Lewis Hamilton was bursting through the field in Hockenheim. So choices well made there. Kind of elsewhere, I think my pick actually for the Championship, you've been saying about Ross County. I think Inverness Cali have been doing really well.
They look good,
blitzed this competition. Well, I say blitzed, they needed a last minute winner against Wraith, but you know.
Inverness are doing a Falkirk last season.
Well, that is the thing. Last season, if you go back to our raving reviews, it's amazing when Falkirk were doing well how many episodes we were banging out. And how we touted them for the title, which is really funny to go back and listen to now. So yeah, the Betfred Cup isn't necessarily a kind of setter, but you know, and we can see, I think, by how seriously some of the Premiership sides have been taking it. By that I mean not very. You know, none of them I think have 100% record, and Hearts especially.
Yeah, it's just a pre-season tourney for them all.
I know.
The Championship clubs have been doing well though, excluding Falkirk obviously, but it might be the opposite for Falkirk this season. They might be bad in the Betfred and then do well in the league, hopefully.
Yeah.
But no, most of the Championship clubs I think are first or second in the leagues, ain't they? So
very few Championship teams have gone through the same turnover as Falkirk have though.
Yeah, that's
well, there's a lot of signings being made across Championship clubs. Maybe not the entire team.
I mean, that I think certainly against St Johnstone sort of last night, maybe about 9, maybe 10 were all new players.
Right.
And certainly all 11, I think, were new players, apart from maybe Muirhead. If you take it back from this time last year, it's an entirely new squad.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, we've been to see Falkirk a couple of times now, and it's been awful to the point where it was worse than last season. And the point a lot of people have been making, you know, the focus from Falkirk was kind of away from their youth development, and they've just been signing folk from other folks' academies, and it's like, why would you do that?
Was there better?
Well, yeah.
We went to a lot of under-20s games. Are you honestly saying that under-20 team that we watched last season is actually better than the people we're bringing up just now?
Some of them.
No,
Some of them.
none of them.
They're okay. Yeah.
Some of them. I mean...
would you rather have Denon Lewis with what you've seen so far, or Scotty Shepherd?
Yeah. No, there's a few of them that certainly are. And I think, you know, as you say again, it's just a wee warm-up. We won't take too much.
It's Hartley's implied it, that it's a kind of team-building exercise. Betfred Cup. Great if you go through, it doesn't matter if you don't, really.
I must admit, I've done nothing but like slate Paul Hartley since he arrived. And I was watching this week an interview with, a great interview with Barry Robson, actually, who spoke about his time at Celtic and playing alongside Zico. I was like, who on earth is he talking about here, Zico? And eventually it was like Paul Hartley. I'm like, oh my goodness, Paul Hartley used to play like Champions League games against like Barcelona and like
he was in both squads for Scotland against France.
Well, he was the diamond of our mid. Well, okay, that's maybe a bit excessive, but yeah, he was an absolute stalwart of a midfield, and now he's in front of us just with utter trash.
It's not utter trash. It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but yeah, a lot of pressure on his back this season, I think.
Well, the knickerwaiters in the main stand, that's an issue. I think that's why they've, certainly the Shire game was closed doors.
Yeah.
To try and keep them away from
prying
guys
eyes.
getting abuse.
Well, we'll wait and see how he does.
If they have a slow start to the season, I think Falkirk will, like for Paul Hartley anyway, it's going to be... I can't see the keeping them for the long term. I'm not the
least bit concerned at the moment.
See, I can't tell if that's a positive or a false
I might be concerned then.
We'll wait and see. We'll cover that, of course, in our preview show, which will probably be next week. I haven't fully decided. Speaking of Paul Hartley's former team Hearts, fined £10,000, £8,000 of which was suspended for fielding an ineligible player in the Betfred Cup, and docked points. 2 points, which
2 points, yeah.
I think still sees them in the running, but they've been guff again. Like, well, not guff, but maybe
Poor for a team that's finished top 6 last season.
it took them like 50, 60 minutes to break down Cowdenbeath. I admit when they did break them down the
Cowdenbeath got a man sent off too.
floodgates. Yeah, but by that point they were absolutely shot 5-0. Signings haven't been great for Hearts this year.
No, I mean, you know my opinion on Craig Levine.
Well, is this his season though? Is this the last straw?
It's probably the last drop to about January. He's dinosaur comparatively, in my opinion. He's more suited to the boardroom than he is to management these days.
Perhaps. The ineligible player thing I find so weird that it still like happens these days though, because it happens all the time.
True. Yeah.
And it's like, do you blame the player? Because sometimes you get guys that have been on loan, played in like the FA Cup first round, and then they've come back to like, Man City or whatever and been used as a sub in the 88th minute. So who do you blame? The club? Do you blame the player?
An error.
It was an admin error in the Hearts instance because they had registered him or something like that.
Aye, I'd say the club. It's more the club than the player. Players just think about the game.
That's true.
So it's the poor secretary in the back room.
Probably.
The sack guy.
It's gone our way a few times. It was Celtic in Europe. Was it not some Polish team like Legia Warsaw or something?
Warsaw fielding an eligible player.
Aye. So I think Celtic got beat. They should have been knocked out and they got through.
Put them back into the Europa League and it was kind of roles reversed.
Yeah.
Legia Warsaw ended up in Europa League. Celtic carried on in the Champions League. And I think they actually got through as well.
I think they did.
The group stages.
I remember the Polish team like just wanted to play them for honour at that point. Let's just exchange the places, and I was like, and they were like, no, why would we do that? Which was absolutely the right thing to do. Kind of elsewhere, the point I was going to make was that the kind of lower league, non-league teams were doing well. Kind of Cove and Spartans. In actual fact, they have picked up like 2 points between them, but they've pushed teams.
But for them, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They've pushed
Spartans
teams.
done okay against Kilmarnock too, considering who they were playing.
I know they pushed them until after half time.
Just after half time, yeah.
They were tweeting as well. It's great to see such quality in front of us here. Where do they play?
Who, Spartans?
Can't remember the name of it.
It's out in Edinburgh, kind of Leith Way.
Yeah.
But they're saying great to have such talent. The food bill was a bit eye-opening for us. There was a jibe at Chris Boyd. Full stop, 0-0 at half time. And then they got beat like 3-0 or something in the end.
I think it was.
Scored a hat-trick as well.
Yeah. It's
enough fed him.
Every time you see pictures, it's always of him like giving it like this or that. He's always pulling funny faces. He knows what he's doing.
That's one song.
Yes, sadly quality doesn't go with fitness in Scotland. Other bizarre moments was a pigeon or a squirrel was carried off at
I think
Hampden.
I saw a pigeon on my report, but
I think it was on the radio. They said a squirrel had been dropped onto the pitch by a pigeon, and I was like, "That's some strong pigeon to be picking up a squirrel."
That's a carrier pigeon. Though.
Well, hey, part of the day to John Brown. So a pigeon died on the Queen's Park pitch. Could be a new mascot for them. Gives a new meaning to pigeon-chested players, that's for sure.
Well, no, post-mortem, see if it was suicide.
Well, maybe it was to help Hampden negotiations at the moment, who knows. So yeah, interesting moment. But of course this sort of Betfred Cup was the prequel to summer football, I think, in a sense. It was like a proof of concept. So my question would be, is it working as a proof of concept?
As in, for summer football, or...
For summer football.
Not a good benchmark.
I would agree with that.
yeah.
As a concept, as a competition as well, it's a struggle. They're struggling with attendances.
Attendances have been poor.
I think it's in part because it is viewed as a pre-season tournament for a lot of clubs. The pricing's a bit iffy as well. I mean, it was £15 to get into St Johnstone.
That's just St Johnstone who's gone back.
It's ridiculous. Even a tenner's pushing it a wee bit.
Well, I think the problem is, because as you say, like attendances have been floating around for big Premiership clubs, kind of 1,500 to 1,800. I think Tynecastle, they opened one stand for the Cowdenbeath game.
Less than 1,000 at Tannadice for Dundee United's game against Arbroath.
There you go.
I think you'll get that in the summer though. So because people's got to be on their holidays and that, so you always get a bit of that. But don't get me wrong, I still expect the tendencies to be better than what that.
I mean, you'll see a massive spike again come the first league game of the season.
Aye.
Oh yeah,
well, people have paid for their
the
season
league,
tickets though, and like
This is it. I mean, it's hard to kind of judge if this would work in summer football because it is just a pre-season tournament. You would actually have to run this season over the summer to really gauge it. And I know that's an impossibility, really. You can't do it as a one-season experiment, but...
I think in terms of the tournament structure currently, it feels very muddled in that you're having... How many groups are there? Like six, seven,
the
eight?
structure's fine, it's just the kind of attitude towards it isn't really there.
Yeah, but see when you're trying to keep abreast of it, like on the BBC or whatever, there's a list of scores, all these groups, they then condense that down because no one's really covering it. And it's a bit confusing. It'd be nice to see them kind of split it up a bit more, like the Champions League or whatever, split the games over 2 days. I think in some instances...
stretching a concept.
Well, I think it makes it difficult.
It is. It's just, like I say, it's just big pre-season.
It makes it difficult to follow, and it's not the product that people want, because if you're a big team playing a weird team, you don't care. There's no meaning behind that. You know, who wants to turn out and see Cowdenbeath, Cove Rangers, Spartans, etc.? I think the reverse of that's very interesting. I think Spartans would love to go out and see Hearts and things like that. But for the bigger teams, the model just doesn't quite work the same.
Difficult cost measure for bigger clubs. For weird clubs, if they get the big team away or at home, doesn't really matter. You'll see a wee bit of increase in revenue, but I don't know. It works fine as a kind of prequel to the league. I mean, if you're Hearts, you are going to be playing a club the size of Cowdenbeath. Or Albion Rovers or something like that. That's just your pre-season. But
I'm not doing that with you.
That does generate maybe 100 or 200 extra people on the gate. Less people would show up if it was Hearts versus Cowdenbeath pre-season game with nothing attached to it.
That's true.
And there is a wee bit of TV money. It's not a lot, but it is TV money.
I don't know how much longer that'll last, because that game we watched on Sunday was terrible, and like...
I tell you what, they've shown that game about the last 4 days.
Oh, well, that's the thing, there's nothing else on.
It's a gap filler. That's the thing, it's a gap filler for them.
Just repeated it over and over.
Yeah, that's true. That gives them a bit like... If summer football ever happened, though, it would be scrapped. So, and they would go back to the old system.
It would be quite interesting, though, to actually sit down with a TV company and go, if we do move to summer football, what kind of deal are you going to give us? Because look at the coverage that Sky and BT have shown over the last 8 weeks.
None.
Since they don't have the World Cup. Abysmal.
That's true.
Bad,
but then you are going up against the World Cup, the Euros, the Olympics, Wimbledon, Le Mans 24 hours.
Stretching it a little bit.
Well, that's what people like to do in the summer, you know.
If you're middle class and live in England, like...
Our viewers could be middle class English.
I can't afford to go down to Wimbledon.
No, but you can watch it on the telly. That's not what I'm saying.
Not.
Headley rowing regatta and such like.
Well, that's you. That's a teacher's salary.
I saw a boy Tom Dallison, I think, was at the Open on Sunday.
Yeah, there's a few.
There was quite a lot of people.
A lot of footballers. You're getting in the way of golf in the middle of summer.
Joy.
Strachan would be furious, but yeah, that's for sure.
Good.
So there we go. So vote to keep it, vote to change it if you had to right now.
Just leave it. Who cares?
I'd keep it at the time being.
It's
good what it is, but it's still, we'd like something better than that, but at the end of the day, it's the summer. So.
Yeah.
It's fine, it does a job. Like.
It does. It does. It fills a void. Okay, I'll reluctantly say yes to that. In which case, but beyond that, there are a few teams that are not playing in the Betfred Cup. They're in fact playing in the European qualifiers. We've of course got Hibs, Aberdeen, Rangers, Celtic. For how much longer, we do not know. So, who do we want to start with? Hibs, Aberdeen, Rangers.
We'll start off with your team.
Start off with Aberdeen, shall we?
Yeah.
So,
this will be quick.
Right. It might not necessarily.
Going out.
Well, first things first about Aberdeen. Have you heard about this new drone partnership they've got?
No, I haven't heard
So they have a new drone partnership with a company to help their tactics, help, develop that part of the game. They were on the news the other day with their drone.
Right.
And it crashed. It crashed and it broke into 1 million pieces in the middle of the Pigeonholing pitch. So, no more drone tactics.
I'd be a good laugh on a 90-degree wind coming off the north.
Well, that may well have been the problem. So yeah, that's out the window. I think for me in this fixture, because they're playing Burnley, And as you might have seen on the Instagram page, all the stats are against them here. But, Burnley have only really played one semi-competitive sort of friendly. I think Preston, they drew 2 each. Or beat them 3-2.
The 1-3-2.
1-3-2. It wasn't a fantastic performance, So I think, Aberdeen have played a couple of more, friendlies. Hasn't been going that well up until the West Brom friendly leading up to this game, where they got a 1-1 draw. Sam Cosgrove got a goal. Hallelujah. So Stevie May might not need to be our,
saving grace at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. In these sort of games, McInnes has always gone with a big striker. Remember, he always used to play Stockley in the final against Celtic.
That's right.
So when he feels he's up against it, he'll play the big man just in sheer hope.
Have they made many signings, Aberdeen?
Made 2 today.
They made 2.
Oh, did they?
Centre back and someone else.
Yeah, centre back came in from Watford.
Oh, right.
Another Irishman.
Aye, well.
I'm not complaining about that, but it seems.
I was going to say, it's like, no,
yeah, but it's becoming a bit of a home from home for Gleeson was Irish, McGinn. We had Hayes. Rooney was Irish.
Danny Rodgers is Irish.
Well, he's gone. So that's who Thomas Cherney
All in your books.
came in to replace.
Why did you get rid of Danny Rodgers and replace him with Thomas Cherney?
Everyone in the sort of comment section of these things were saying, let the boy get out and get some experience, he'll come back and be fine. This has been going on for 4 or 5 years.
Yes, it is.
And the fact is, he's going out to sit on the St Mirren bench. So, that's no use to man their base. They don't believe him, then just let him go. That's my opinion on that. Otherwise, the squad is sorely lacking in a good striker. I think that's
does stick out, yeah.
one of the complaints. They tried to sign. Do you remember Owen Doyle?
Yeah,
Hibs.
He's at Preston.
Aye, we missed that.
Good.
we
dodged a bullet there.
I don't know. It would have been better than Stevie May. That's the big problem.
Anyone out of Preston, though, you would be going for Louis Moult.
That'd be a lot of money, though, considering.
What does they play?
I know, but Preston signed him for 500 grand. They'd be looking to get some of that back.
On loan, even.
I've been hearing a lot of Rangers fans wanting him. So
a doable signing as well.
It is. But as far as the fixture's concerned, I'm hopeful for the home leg on Thursday. And by the time you've listened to this,
biggest chance,
you listen to this, I might be a fool. I might well be a fool. If they can get something at home, which I think is the only remote hope for this. Because, Burnley aren't at the races. Are Aberdeen at the races? I think this is where not playing in the first round of the Europa League hasn't actually helped.
Yeah.
Because it is a cold start for competitive football.
Oh, for both. It's maybe
it's
a level.
Same for Burnley, I suppose. Yeah.
It is the same for Burnley. If they get lucky and get a 1-0, that's all you can ask for, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's...
You need to be taking a victory into the second leg, I think.
Yes.
You need something to hang on to.
Yes.
It's going to be tough.
So dangerous, in fact, the smoke alarm sound gone off.
The only good thing is for...
One breaking into your car.
It could be one of your cars.
Probably is.
You could run to the window and just double check. Oh well.
What's that smoke coming from?
Boom. So I will wait and see. As far as Burnley don't have that many big names.
I was about to say, it's not like they've went out and made a couple of big name signings over the summer. I don't think they've brought anybody in, really.
I don't know if it's just me, but the English Premier League window has been really quiet.
Relatively. For the small teams especially.
I think the World Cup's had an impact on that too.
Wee bit, but it's been really quiet.
It has been quiet, yeah.
So, fingers crossed for the the drones. Let's hope they don't crash and burn just like their drone did. Elsewhere, we have Hibernian going off to Greece to face Asteras Tripolis after they spectacularly came through against Faroe Island side NSI Runavík, who had an Instagram account when I went to tag them.
Did they?
I was amazed by that. It was verified and everything. I was like, wow, how on earth? Anyway.
It is the Faroe Islands. There's no one there.
I know. Exactly. Apart from F.A. Ambrose scoring their own goals. That was an absolutely bizarre game. I think they were quite relaxed, though, because of the result. So I hope we can't take too much from that.
Need to defend better this thing.
Well, yes.
Well, when they went 2-0 down, I was like, I thought they'd put this kind of thing behind them. Like,
it was the opposite thing of when they played Rangers at the last game of the season and went 3-0 up to think, they could actually get third here. Stevie Mallon seems to be playing absolutely cracking for them. That's really, really top good signing.
Him and McGinn in midfield was like, that's a class pairing. But
Well, you wonder if they're holding on to McGinn for this process.
They'll hold on until they either get to the group stages, very slim, or they get bumped out and then they'll sell them.
Well,
That's the right thing to do.
The statistics are very much against them. Asteras Tripolis finished, 4th, 5th in the Greek league.
5th, I think.
I think they're about 100 ranks, UEFA ranks, ahead of Aberdeen.
This will be a tough game.
It will be a tough game. And I think the fans have been saying that they'll get a similar welcome to Aberdeen when they went to Limassol in Cyprus, because that sort of fan culture
Right, yeah.
out there. I don't know if the match will be affected because of these forest fires or anything like that. I've not heard anything.
I'm not too sure. I can't remember if it's them or if it's AEK Athens who have the stadium ban as well.
Right.
I think it's Athens.
Right.
I'm sure that was the chairman that ran him with a gun.
Oh, yes.
Against
I
Pal.
remember reading about that. That could actually come back for Celtic, weirdly enough. We'll talk about later on.
We'll get to that, but I can't remember. Maybe both. Yeah, it's Greece. They're absolutely for trolley. Like.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing for them to get a result. I think here is probably where it could end for them.
A reasonable chance.
If they come away with like a draw or something like that, that'd be incredible. That'd be a great score for them.
For me, out with Celtic, they are the best squad in Scotland right now for just these sort of one-off performances.
Yes.
Got
the manager for it as well.
The manager made some good signings, as long as they're holding on to McGinn for a while, which it looks like they have
Should do, aye.
intentions. If they did get through against the Greek side, they would face Lassie, I think, of Albania, or Mold of Norway. And you would fancy them against them.
Yeah.
So they actually have one of the easier draws.
It's a good incentive
Yes.
to kind of get them going. I don't know anything about Lassie, and I think Mold is playing. They play in the Arctic Circle.
Do they?
Yeah.
Alright.
Quite remarkable. I don't think they're that fantastic. You could beat a Norwegian side.
I thought so. I've heard of them.
We'll
but
find out tonight.
Well, we will find out tonight with Celtic face off against Rosenborg. Aberdeen, by the way, if they get through, they play a team from Istanbul.
Second best team in Turkey.
Well, something like that. Istanbul Başakşehir, who on their books, Darren, have Gail Clichy, Emmanuel Adebayor, and Arda Turan.
Really?
So yeah, you can
Didn't know
chuck.
that.
That's the thing about Aberdeen, it's a total fruitless endeavour, because if you do get through, you know,
you got a horrendous trip to Istanbul. Right?
well then, even if you get through again, there's the likes of Atalanta, there's, I think, Red Bull Leipzig are in at this stage, Seville are in at this stage. So it's like, and that's the problem with Hibs and Rangers if they continue. I think
That's right.
Rangers will go and play Osijek.
I think.
Let's go with that.
Where are they from, Darren?
Croatia.
Croatia,
Yeah.
good.
I had to think about that.
My worry is that these Croatians will be fired up after their World Cup performance and they'll just blitz us.
I'm hoping they're all hungover. Like.
That's a good chance. Darren, I think you saw them against Skopje, the Macedonian side.
Yeah.
They look kind of good.
They were okay, Rangers, the first leg. The second leg, there wasn't a lot happening, but the team they were playing, Skopje, they were very poor going forward. So
Yeah.
I think this Croatian side will be better going forward. So
It
that's
could
where the
punish them.
challenge will come in. But then we've not really seen a lot of new centre backs at Rangers or anything. So
No.
it'll be interesting to see them getting tested.
No, the new signings have looked alright. I think the old guard Morelos has been utter trash.
Yeah, I think the old guard's the problem. I think getting these new signings in, that's making the difference.
See, that's the thing for me. Like folk like Murphy, he never really kicked on when he came in.
He made a difference.
He made a difference at the time, but in the team now, I wasn't that impressed with him over the two legs. And I think they were lauding, Glenn Middleton as one of their top guys. And I'm like,
He's a good impact player. I wouldn't
good
have him
impact player.
starting the game.
no.
Relis is just needing a wee bit more experience up beside him. But you see the difference.
I just wouldn't have him playing personally. But
No.
But you see the difference when Kenny Miller was up beside him.
Mhm.
You could see the difference in his play. It was a lot better.
I think Kenny Miller just does that to people he makes.
left.
We've seen what happened to Craig Sibbald at Livingston.
That's
He played a
fluke.
glorious ball to Kenny Miller at the
That's a
weekend.
fluke. Like kidding.
I don't like this loan strategy of Rangers. You're never going to loan your way to a championship. Like,
I don't know. They need something to kind of stem.
yeah, it's what they're doing for one, money, and two, it's the amount of players they're bringing in from Liverpool. They're not going to be able to sign these players from
hand them
Liverpool.
all back. What's the?
Well, I think they've got
I mean, you're going to be handing them maybe 1 or 2 year deals anyway. What difference does it make?
So
Yeah.
it's just a. Yeah,
The rumour was they've got agreement with Liverpool anyway that they can sign
Whoever they want.
Whoever Klopp
Yeah, but
says
can't-
he's not
it
wanting.
can't
So.
be a Liverpool B side. Like,
Probably won.
Better than what they've got last season,
Well,
at least.
yeah, but
finished.
it feels
Let's be
like
honest.
quick fix after quick fix after quick fix. And a lot of these guys, they're not champions, Like, and even their big signings, like Scott Arfield, has he ever won a league before? Possibly the championship, I'm not entirely
Certainly
sure.
came up through the playoffs with Huddersfield. I don't know if he won the league. That's man knowledge.
Murphy, never really won anything, and
I still think it's more promising than last season. I think it's gone the right direction.
It is. I mean, they haven't
we'll see how they go.
They haven't
man.
been papped out in the first round of the Europa League.
No,
It's
that's true.
Progress, let's be honest.
Yes, yes.
No pun intended.
well, that's the thing. A lot of the Rangers fans were questioning their abysmal UEFA ranking, and it was like, well, the only thing they have to go on is you got punted out in the first round.
Yeah.
I think for me, if Rangers were always a team where the kind of top Scottish talent went, so I would like to see them sign more kind of permanent deals, from the top players in the Premiership. I know that pool's getting smaller and smaller.
Well, they tried it. I mean, they signed Greg Docherty. They've all of a sudden went off him.
I think
A bit bizarre. He's a decent
Steve
player.
Gerrard's came in, so he might not
he
think
was
him
decent,
as good as
but that was too fast to
did.
go from Hamilton to Rangers in the space of a couple of weeks.
He wasn't playing again with good players though at the time. That was the thing.
I
If he had
was,
stayed, him and Arfield in the midfield, that's a decent combination.
yeah. Well, there's so many midfielders now, like
This is it.
Ryan Jack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Boy
you get him
McCrory
at the
came
door.
on.
It's his mints.
I've tried to remember the boy's name. Is it Ejara?
Ajaya
Ah, yeah. He looks quite good actually. He's got.
Fair
He's
enough.
got
played a good pass through in that second
yeah,
leg,
I think he's definitely got.
which says
got
top
quality.
player. That's all I know.
exactly. In Scotland, that's all you need.
I read a quote about that striker Umar Sadiq,
Yes.
and it was the NEC Breda coach. It was like sometimes he just didn't know what he was doing and how rubbish he was. I was like, and then sometimes he'd have a moment of brilliance. I was like, this sounds like another Rangers striker they've got on their books. That's fantastic. We'll see how. It's a big question mark for me. I've not seen that much of Gerrard, so we'll see how it pans out. But they are playing the lowest ranked side, or the highest ranked UEFA side, so they are, in theory, statistically, the most likely of the Scottish sides to go through. So, pressure's on Rangers.
Yeah, okay. Well,
They're playing the weakest team
the weakest
statistically.
team, basically. Yeah.
And they are a quarter of a star better, according to Football Manager statistics. It's a hair width, yeah. It's not a lot. Who would they go on to face? Let me.
Malabar, was it?
Oh, yeah, Maribor.
Yeah.
the Achilles heel of Scotland.
I know. I was thinking Maribor would
You
actually.
don't want them, do you?
Maribor would be hard. They've punted us out a lot, haven't they?
They've won 4 of their 5 last ties. I had a wee look. 4 of their 5 last ties against Scottish teams, which included Rangers not too long ago, 2011. They've beat Hibs. They've beat Celtic, I think. Maybe it's Aberdeen. They're the only team that actually bet them.
Really? That would be a
Way
long
back.
time ago.
I'm sure they were only the club. Maribor were only about 2 or 3 years old at the time as well. As a
Right,
club.
yeah. Aye, they're not an old club, are they? No.
Well,
In terms
area of the world is a bit.
Slovenia. Slovenia have been tough to beat. They've put some Premier League sides. Was it Domizali? Pushed West Ham or something, but aye, we'll see how we get on this round. Because again,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
once the games go on Thursday,
Well, this is it.
this could be null and void. The problem is, like, I was looking at the stats the other day for our quiz later, which we'll come to, and
Can't wait.
the only time we really progressed was when there was only kind of 1 or 2 rounds of qualifying. For the Scottish teams to come through. Aberdeen, when they made the group stage, was 1 round of qualifying outside the Old Firm, that is. Hearts was like 1 round of qualifying and then straight out into knockout stages, I think, at the time.
No, they went in the UEFA Cup.
Well, Aberdeen went into UEFA Cup as well, but I think UEFA Cup was all knockout.
Oh, you played the league.
Okay. But they was 1 round of qualifying as well, and we go in at the second and first round, which is where the utter trash is.
Well, I mean, we're there for a reason as well. That's
But
the
we're
problem.
actually looking at the coefficients. We're actually quite close to getting 2 Champions League places. So Celtic have a good year. If we get another team into the group stages,
It will help, yeah.
2 Champions League, well, potential Champions League spots, which would
You're desperate to get Celtic into the group stages, and you really need even the sort of playoff round. I think really helps.
yes.
Looking back at recent years, you can see where we are in terms of why we're there. But I think there's hopefully a wee bit
Challenges
of
from
potential
Lincoln
coming.
Red Imps and
I was going to say you're going to blame Motherwell or me.
What?
You're going to blame Motherwell or blah.
I hated Motherwell. St Johnstone were such a waste of a European place as well for a long time.
Johnston were away.
Yeah.
Dunfermline done it. Falkirk done
Right.
it.
See, if you look back at the stats,
I've done it.
Dunfermline have bossed up so many European qualifications. The year Aberdeen went to the group stage, Dunfermline bossed it up earlier.
Played an Icelandic team, got beat.
Was that not Queen of the South?
No, they played an Irish team, I'm sure.
Well, they pants. Well, we sorted the cup rule, which pants does
A little bit.
everywhere. What really hurts as well is they've merged. Remember the Intertoto Cup and stuff like that?
It disappeared.
They merged it back into this, so the qualifying stages are huge.
Oh, they started back in June.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Well, there's a preliminary round where it's like total
This is
pants.
like
This is like San Marino and stuff who just shouldn't. They didn't even give Liechtenstein a Champions League place this year.
normally get it for winning the Liechtenstein Cup. That's how Vaduz get it every year. They
Well,
win that cup. They play their
I think
under
they play in the
20s.
Swiss Super League though, don't they?
Still win.
Honestly, they play their under 20s in that tournament and get it every
Well,
year.
the Liechtenstein didn't get the Champions League place, but had a better coefficient than some that did, which was
They're a reasonable. I was going to say they're a reasonable side. They very occasionally make it into the Swiss Super League.
uh-huh.
And then
That's
get
all right.
rocketed back out again.
Well, they beat Falkirk, so in our only campaign.
We can't say anything really.
Well, that's the thing. But a lot of people complain that Aberdeen going into the second round hasn't exactly been an advantage. It is bizarre that in the second round you have Burnley, Leipzig, Bordeaux. Like, what an
That's true.
put them. There's teams further up. Like, who does really well? Actually, I'll not tell you because it's part of the quiz. But
I
yeah,
mean, you get some kind of random teams as well. The Ludogorets are always quite close.
unbelievable. Ukraine's get loads of good places.
Shakhtar and
Shakhtar, I think
Yeah.
there's one auto spot. It's ridiculous.
Shakhtar did quite well though. I mean,
I
it was
know.
the last 16.
Yeah, they done alright.
I know, but it's annoying.
That's really annoying.
It is annoying, yeah.
That's what you get for signing Brazilian players.
I know.
They've got a good squad.
And we're going off topic. This is terrible.
No, we're still talking about Europa League. So fingers crossed. How many teams are going to go through to the next round, John, if you had to say?
I think Celtic will make it. We never really spoke about them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a four.
Well, I was just rounding up Europa League. I was going to get into Champions
Oh,
League.
well,
We're going to get there, John, don't we?
desperate. No, I'm not biased.
Wait and see.
I think 2 out of 3. I think
He's
Hibs,
written off Aberdeen.
Hibs have a soft spot to get through, which is really painful. And I think Rangers will do it as well.
Right, okay,
I
Dan.
agree with John, actually.
I'm going to go with 1 because I think one of them's going to get an absolute stinker of a team right at the last
Right.
in like the third qualifying round, which would just
Oh,
stuff
to actually
them.
get to the group stages.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, named it.
Oh no,
was
sorry,
gonna say,
sorry,
yeah,
yeah, no,
none
sorry.
of them.
Oh, to get through this round.
That's right, that. Yeah.
I think I'll go with 1. I think one of them will walls it up. I don't know who, but one of them I think will walls it up.
2 out of 3. That's...
Wait and see.
Definitely Aberdeen.
Aye.
Oh yeah, no, we're not contesting that. I love this time of year though because Europa League's so fun because you get these really ropey streams from like Premier Sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only time you ever need that channel, which is a Virgin Media subscriber I now have, I had to sacrifice Dave. Yeah,
Oh, that's good news.
I know. So if you want to see the games, they're here, and that you're listening on the radio. I'm sure this is when BBC Radio Scotland will have the most connections drop out during football matches, as they're out in like Latvia and.
Yeah.
Weird and wonderful places.
So that's always fun. Anyway, Celtic are playing Rosenborg tonight. Fingers crossed that's a foregone conclusion, right? The Lord Bentner
think
returns
so,
again.
yeah.
I think we've played him before.
Decent result at Celtic, and then you should be fine.
Same as
Well,
last year, hopefully. Yeah.
They're in an absolute mess.
Oh, sacked our manager.
Sacked our manager. I
Sacked the
heard,
manager,
yeah.
player revolt.
I did hear that the players are.
Taking the same route as Spain pretty much did, before the World Cup.
Before the World Cup.
Sacked the manager right before.
Yeah.
It can be really good or really bad. You know, that kind of galvanising effect.
Mm-hmm.
The players, or they could just chuck it. Hope for the latter.
Well, I think they should be alright. They've beaten Rosenborg before.
Scrape through third round
Aye.
last year.
Last year, yeah.
It would just be a slap in the face because Ronnie Dial will be sitting at his wee Norwegian telly laughing his face off otherwise.
And the Ronnie Rowan.
I very likely.
There's meal for one everywhere.
Hey. The thing is, they too themselves, if they get through, have a really rough ride. You know, AEK Athens,
Yeah,
strong
that'd be
side.
a tough game.
I don't know. If it is the closed door game, that helps an
That's true.
unbelievable amount. And I would expect Celtic to beat anyone at Parkhead in the Europe, sort of, especially in the qualifying. They're in the strongest position out of all 4 by a long way.
Oh, it's by far and away the strongest side. Like
They should be. Yeah.
I don't know if are they seeded the whole way through, or are they already unseeded?
they are not seeded for this round. I don't think they've got Champions route for this round.
Because they might be able to take. Well, is that kind of weird and wonderful way where you can take your
Yeah.
opponent's seeding?
Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if Rosenborg are the seeded team, and if that would be Celtic. Right, it depends because they've already drawn This is too technical.
It was really funny. See, looking at the draws today, the way it worked out with the Champions route, which is the seeded route, and then teams in the Europa League got the Champions route as well, but it was like
Really ropey, because most teams are third or fourth.
Well, exactly. It was really sketchy. So, yeah, fingers crossed again. If we got 2 teams to the group stages, just like it would do wonders for our coefficients and make our life so much easier.
Something to go and the pub and watch. You know?
I know that too. It's my favourite competition, the Europa League. Truth be told, I think it's where all the proper football teams are.
The traditional teams
good,
are.
Yeah.
Well, it's outside of, like, the big money spending, giants these days. Like last year we had Marseille, which is like the antidote to PSG, or Atletico Madrid, or Red Bull Leipzig, the okay, nope, that's a bad example. Red Bull Salzburg. Oh, no, that's a bad example.
Don't talk to John about that.
I mean, we had teams of who else did we have in the semi-finals? Lazio.
They were quarters. They go beat off that team.
Oh, they who shall not be named. And then Atletico Madrid, who are... but Sevilla were like
Sevilla, yeah.
They're the antidote to the rest of them.
They usually do well in Europa.
I would always say it's a very exciting competition. They're a bit more mixed to it, but Sevilla won it for won it, excuse me, like 3 years on the trot. So
Spanish teams are 4 out of the last 5. It's only Man United.
They've got a great record from that.
Yeah. You should see their coefficient is like so much of a joke compared to ours. It's like 20,000 and we've got like 4. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, fingers crossed for everyone there. There's lots of interesting games to come up with some big teams by the looks of things. I'll certainly be watching that Aberdeen Burnley game for the first 15 minutes at least on Thursday.
Behind the couch.
Aye, through bated breath. So fingers crossed, just get us through. We desperately need it. And they'll of course be looking forward to coming back to the Betfred Cup as well. But anyway, before we move on, one of my favourites from last year, the quiz for teams and which round they go into in European qualifying. So as you can see, I've got the actual Champions League trophy here.
I'm excited now.
Not the piston cup from joke is he did what in the cup in the film, which is a very funny joke. I like that. So the premise of the game, actually no, let's start with the quiz music first. So here's the quiz. Right, so rules of this game is the last time I gave you a team that finished at a certain place, like second place in the San Marino and European playoffs. Now I'm giving you a team.
Alright, okay. Right.
So pick a team from the cup, you too, John.
Alright.
And I will if you pick out more than one, that's fine. I think I've got 9. Yeah, it'll whiz us through a bit more quickly. And you are to guess where they go in at European qualifying. Now, I'll get my iPad up with the facts because I don't fully remember this. So, Darren, who's your first team you've drawn from our Champions League trophy?
It is PSV.
PSV Eindhoven. Darren,
Yes.
I don't have any interesting facts about it. Of course, they finished where in the Dutch Eredivisie, John? First.
They were first.
So where do they go into, Darren? Remember, we have group stage,
Yes.
playoff, third round, second round, first round, or if you're a total diddy, preliminary round. No offence to
should be group stage for them.
group stage.
Yeah.
Incorrect. They go into the playoff rounds of the Champions League.
Top tier Dutch team.
Top tier Dutch team got the playoff round. It's funny that.
That's unbelievable.
50 grand.
0 points for Dan. John, your first team.
I have Eintracht Frankfurt.
Eintracht Frankfurt. How did they qualify, John?
Did they win? They won the German Cup.
They did win the German Cup. Very good.
I don't think they qualified through the league as well.
Well, I have the German Cup, is what they were noted as. Interesting fact, they've managed to maintain higher average attendances than PSG and AC Milan, and they won the Cup of the Alps in 1967. A trophy organised by the Italians, there you go. So, where did they... That's awkward. So, which competitions do they go into first, John?
They'll be going into the Europa League.
Correct. The Cup winners, you see, Darren.
We'll go for a playoff round in the Europa League.
Incorrect.
Group stage.
There's pretty much no one that goes into the playoff round of the Europa League. It's really weird.
Right.
I think it's purely for Champions League knockouts. Anyway.
For the dropouts.
Yes. 0 points to you, John. This is not going well. Darren, who's your next team?
Victoria Pilsen.
Victoria Pilsen. Interesting fact about them. Pilsen is the most populous city in the Czech Republic.
Is it?
And they have drawn with AC Milan in the Champions League. Lots of AC Milan stats today. That's interesting, isn't it? Yes. So, Darren.
Yeah.
They finished first in the Czech First League. First, yes.
First, yeah.
Right, where do they go into? Big lofty
not too
ambitions here. That's surprising.
I know. Is it Champions League?
It's Champions League, of course, winners jam.
Yeah. Right, I'm just trying to think. So playoff, is it? Playoff?
Incorrect.
No.
Third round.
I'm going to give you half a pint. Half a pint? I'm going to give you half a
pint.
pint later as well.
Half a pint,
Half a
that's good.
point, because you were one stage away. So I'm going to give half a point for one stage away. They go straight into the group stage. And from now on, I'm going to give half a point.
They got
Because
to
you
the
were
group stage.
You got to the group stage.
Oh, that's crazy.
John,
I'm not taking part. I'll have a point.
you both would have got half a point last time anyway, right? So calm your jets. Who's your next team? Oh, did you not pick one?
I'll pick one. You pick two. You're cheating.
All right, okay, that's fine. Right,
To pick two, I picked two.
Red Star Belgrade.
Red Star Belgrade. Oh, interesting. They were European champions, of course, in 1991, and according to a poll, not a Polish person, that'll be awkward, they are supported by 48% of Serbia. There you go.
Oh.
Where did they...
Another 52 support partisan.
Probably. Not very partisan. Haha. Where did they finish in the Serbian league last year, John?
Right.
They did. Where did they go into then?
League.
Correct.
Third qualifying round.
No. I'll give you half a point for the correct competition.
That's
So it's half and half.
He's making this awfully difficult for us, eh?
Scoring's totally
Where did
unfair
they
and
go?
totally unbiased. It's not about the scoring, really. Darren!
Right, I need.
Picture next
I'm
team.
gonna take two or one here. Let's see.
Yeah, just take one.
I'll take
I'm
two.
running out here.
Right, let's see.
Fantastic podcast listening.
Who the hell is this?
Ah!
Right, you gotta tell us who it is.
Is this the
Let's
Austrian
get
team?
my voice back. Yeah.
Admira Wacker
Admira.
Modelling. Is it?
Yes, that is.
Admira Wacker Modelling.
Wacker.
I picked this
This is
purely
going to be
because...
difficult for me because I don't know who that.
I picked it purely on their name.
Ah.
Frankly, I thought it was fantastic.
Vacker.
They finished 5th in the Austrian Bundesliga.
Austrian.
They got that name because they've merged with like 14 teams
All right. Okay.
in the past. So finishing 5th, quite low in the Austrian
so
Bundesliga.
Europa League.
It's mid-table.
Well, okay, yes, pretty much.
It's a 10 team.
They do go into the Europa League, Darren.
Yep.
5th, quite low down in the Europa.
So that must be. I'm guessing it's. No, must be second or third. So I'm going for second.
Good man. You get a full point for that, Darren.
1.5.
I was thinking
He's got 1.5. My scoring card's looking really complicated now.
1.5.
John, who's your next team?
It's Vikingur Gotha.
Vikingur Gotha. What's my interesting facts about them? Do I have any? Yes, I do. Once managed by former Rangers player Morris Ross.
They have a Baroni right winger.
Well, they were Faroe Islands Premier League champions last year. Where did they go in?
First qualifying round.
Of. Correct. So both 1.5. Well done. Darren, I think this will
Yes.
be our last one.
All right. Okay. I have Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon.
Did they come third last season?
They still got a team.
They do. Interestingly enough, they have 38 different sports teams,
All right.
which stretch across different sports including water polo, aikido and paintballing.
Aikido.
Paintball.
It's like a Japanese judo thing. So there you go. It's a big sports club apparently. Where do you think they
to
go
know.
into? Well, hold on. They finished 3rd in the Portuguese Premier
Third, yeah, I
League.
thought third. Yeah. Right. Let me think. So
Portugal.
first and second is Champions League. So. Is it group stages of Europa?
Correct. This is bad. John.
Marseille.
Oh, darn, this is easy. They finished 4th in League One. Interesting facts about Marseille is they're named Olympique after the Greeks who founded the city 25 centuries earlier. So Olympic, Greek, Olympique.
Very good.
The more you know. Right,
No,
finish
you
Learn
here.
something new every day.
4th in League One, and we're Europa League finalists. Where do they go?
Group stages, Europa League.
Ah, good grief. Yes. Darren,
Well done, John.
could you rummage about in the cup?
Oh.
Is there any left?
There should be one left.
Well, there's one left.
Right, there's one left.
One left.
Right, okay.
You take that, right?
The tiebreaker would be
Couldn't have script
I'm
this.
sure this happened last year, you know?
the first person that can tell me where this team's from, for a start, would win.
Alright.
Okay. Then
This is going to be John.
we'll just go fastest on the buzzer. Okay, so this team is Punic. P-Y-U-N-I-K. Where do you think they're from?
Iceland.
Incorrect.
Sweden?
Incorrect. Right, we move on.
Okay.
They finished, again, first on the buzzer. 5th in the Armenian Premier League. So they are our Armenian side. Where do they go?
Europa League first round.
John wins the game.
Well done, John.
Now, interesting fact about this. It should have gone to 4th. However, they got embroiled with some match fixing scandals, so it went to Punic instead.
Alright.
That happened to quite a few Balkan nations. There was a few like 6th place teams that got places because of either match fixing or the team couldn't obtain a UEFA licence. So they must have been playing on a farm, was the only thing I could deduct from that.
That's weird.
A bit weird.
Parma levels
Couldn't even
of
told you
match
where they
fixing.
came from.
No, I didn't. Neither of you. I wouldn't have fully expected. So,
Weren't even in the right kind of area of Europe.
I know, totally wrong. So well done, John. You are our winner of this year's Europa League quiz.
That means I get to keep the Piston Cup.
Well, okay, yep. For the moment, you put it in front of you as our trophy winner.
Lift it up, John.
Lift it for the camera. Hey, there we go.
Oh, it was good. Well done, Paul.
Aye, try my best. I like the interesting
facts.
facts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
the
facts.
facts were good. It's hard Wikipedia. Anyway, so last but not least, we'll just round off this week with some general chat. I think we saw that Adam Rooney shifted to Salford City. Sort of last week sort of time. And Stephen Robinson's come out and said he's tried to sign a few players, but Salford City have swooped in and out, cashed them. Not the only time it's happened. It looks like target of Falkirk, Super Joe Cardle.
It was really linked though.
Amazing, he's such a Dunfermline man through. He went
Funny as anything.
to AFC Fylde, similar sort of level
Same league.
to Salford. And it's something we see quite a lot in those leagues, like kind of budget sugar daddies, that they're making things very, very difficult for us in our top league. Do you think?
Trickle down effect for the Premier League. So much money in England.
But even in the National League, it's so far removed.
Emic.
I mean, that's obviously, Salford City are funded by Singaporean, and the class of '92 with their money, heck knows how much of their own cash they're actually putting into that, and they're obviously going for the Football League.
Yes.
But it's so difficult with such a disparity right on our doorstep to try and keep any good players here.
Well, this is it. This is just an issue you're going to have to overcome. It's unfortunate, but you take their money while it's still there. It's a bubble.
Where are our sugar daddies? What happened to the Romanovs and
You really will go down that route again.
well,
Come on.
we just didn't get any good ones. That was our problem. Although Hearts could have won the league at the time. you never
Yeah, probably could have.
you never know.
Had it taken off them, but yeah.
But it makes it difficult for everyone else in that league, and it takes away from competitive football. Would you say that, for example, Paris Saint-Germain have destroyed competition in France?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can bring out kits from before the money, so I'm a true supporter. So would we implement things like budget caps? In Scotland, we already do, but that's for our own problem, man.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It'd be hard to do that,
Premier League, everybody has money now. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really
especially the Premier League. Yeah.
impose a budget cap as such.
Well, that's the thing. If you were to impose a budget cap, everyone would have to do it.
Everyone follows the same kind of principle. I don't know. Like I say, just take the money while it's still there. I think suck it up. You just enjoy what you've got in front of you. It's your aim product.
Really hard to do that when it's absolutely trash, though. It's getting paid nothing as well.
Comparatively, aye. And that's an issue as well. Unfairly distributed the wealth, given that we're still kind of used as bait. And we're like the sort of 12 o'clock on a Sunday slot.
Yeah.
No one really wants.
11:30 sometimes these days.
Sort of the Monday evening kind of game. Nobody really wants. And I think that's why I like BT.
Uh-huh.
They've taken Scottish football a little bit more serious. They probably don't pay the same kind of money as maybe they should, but they're giving it a kind of level of respect that Sky have never given it.
Well, hopefully that could lead to them eventually getting Old Firm fixtures and stuff.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't be disappointed if they outbought the remaining Sky share and just took the lot.
I think we're actually very fortunate because I think the punditry we have here in Scotland is pretty excellent.
Game BT's is far superior to what Sky's is.
Why?
Sky doesn't really care. That's my interpretation.
Yeah, it was the same with their La Liga coverage last season. Very poor.
But then, right, okay, so they're not doing a good job with La Liga. They're not doing a good job with the Scottish Premiership.
They've not got European football anymore either, so...
That is a killer.
Yeah.
Like,
For Sky it is.
I think my favourite time watching European football was just at the end of when Sky had it, was when it kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
I don't like the BT coverage as much because Gary Lineker's just pants. Like, well, not the time he wore pants when Leicester City won the league, but like, I just don't think he's a good pundit anymore. I'm actually sick and tired of footballers covering my screen.
Yeah, they've got nothing.
Always
really
got to get that,
they
but yeah.
take an absolute fortune.
I know. I think what Gaz gets,
Gary Lineker gets
1.7
more
million.
himself than what BBC pay for the whole of Scottish football.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
he
is
works for
painful.
BBC and BT,
And
doesn't
BT.
he? So
Richard Gordon needs to give them a call. He needs to get his wage upgraded.
on the line.
Michael Stewart will be seething as well, no doubt, but he's always seething, so.
Normal.
Always normal, but yeah, if Sky don't have that, what happens? They won't have anything.
Well, he got John's favourite tournament over the summer. International
The
Champions
International
Cup.
Champions Cup.
They used to have that too. So
I must admit, watching that Bayern Munich PSG game the other day, you weren't missing out
no,
on much.
especially that game because it was like the youth teams.
There's
Awful.
no one out there. Like,
Awful.
the only interest, they have Timothy Weah, son of George.
Who?
Timothy Weah?
We are.
You know George Weah, the AC Milan, he won like Player of the Year in the 90s. His son now plays for PSG. Interestingly enough, though, see some of these England under-19s have chosen to go on their team summer tours instead of go to the...
that. Yeah, they got beat off of France the other day.
They got pumped off of France, Dan.
No,
Pumped! Sorry.
nobody stopped them at the moment.
Like, France are just going to dominate the world in terms of footballing, but do you pick your team's pre-season tour over international football? It's
At that level, you would.
Depends.
kind of losing its relevance a wee bit there.
Suppose your club pays your wage more, so
Yeah, but I guess you never get a chance.
It's more about playing for your country than you are.
yeah.
I mean, if you're in the Man United academy, you're really going to get dragged around the whole of North America. Or would you rather go and play for England and actually play?
Yeah, and have some proper meaning. I saw
You'd have that wee tag when you sign for Falkirk. Or England under 20 international.
But that as a CV thing for a footballer is huge because it's what always gets
That's
put
true,
up
yeah.
when you sign for a club, a former England under 21 internationalist.
How far have you fallen, Neil?
Well, what could have been is what I always think about. Where did you get lazy along the way? See, Stokes signed for an Azerbaijani side today. Anthony
I
Stokes.
did hear that. Yeah, I heard that actually. Yeah.
So-
Strange.
A dry country.
What?
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Aye, they can't drink.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't think there's much rain. That could be a big problem for him. I talked to a lot of people, and they say he was like one of the biggest wasted talents
Oh, I mean,
there ever was.
Oh, I'd say it was,
100%. Really, Falkirk be stock so high. I think he went to Sunderland for £2 million. The Arsenal.
I think he could have played for Arsenal. Had he
Screwed the nut.
yeah, exactly, which he
He'd
never
been a
did.
fantastic player.
Maybe he'll come back a different man. Yeah.
32, I think.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
missed it now. Yeah.
He'll get paid good money when he's out there, though.
Hibs strikers, it's never
That'll be must be the reason. There can't be many reasons. To it.
there's a curse on Hibs strikers, Dan. It just doesn't he?
That's where Stokes went about 6,000 miles away. Simon Murray's about to South Africa on the other side of the world.
That's true. Do you know what though,
How far
right?
away do you need to get?
From being like a plumber in Dundee like 4 or 5 years ago, if you sat and told him you'd be moving to South Africa and signing for a footballing side, he'd be like,
I never.
what? So it'd be a great life experience for him. Shame, I was always a big fan. Here's a question though. My brother was talking to me the other day in terms of Stokes and his amazing time at Falkirk. Who would you put as your top 5 ever Falkirk players that you've seen play in front of you? Putting you on the spot there.
Latapi's up there.
I'd put Latapi as my number
I'd
one.
put number one. Yeah.
Stokes wouldn't be too far behind him.
I think Stokes would be my top 5.
Yeah, Stokes
Brutally
would be.
honest. Grant on his day was a great player. And if he hadn't got injured quite so much, he would have been pushing the internationals. No doubt.
I might have put him at 5. I don't know, maybe.
Danny Mallow purely for his performance against everyone else.
I think you could have named any keeper from Peter Schmeichel or
Schmeichel, yeah, he was good.
Tim Krul was fantastic.
Arfield was a good player, but he was kind of bobbed out of a challenge.
So far we've got Latapi. John's got Peter Grant. Danny Mallow. Is he the best keeper, you think?
Yeah, he's the absolute ultimate cult hero.
I always put forward Jean-Francois Lessenel because he was brilliant for the 3 games he played for us on trial from a French 3rd division side in the amateur leagues. Who else?
Owen Coyle was absolutely outstanding that season at Brockville.
Colin Samuel, I remember,
Colin
was
Samuel.
fantastic.
Why that team?
Oh, Samuel, actually, that's a good shit.
Right. I don't know. It's a really tough one. We always had really, really good players. They've never stayed, apart from Lappy, for a period of
long
time.
term,
They've always been a
yeah.
one-season wonder.
There is, if you want to see, have you heard, you know that exhibition at Calendar House at the moment?
Yeah, I've been wanting to go.
Don't go, it's terrible. But there is a horrific statue of Russell Latifi, which the fans very kindly gifted him as thanks for the club.
right.
It's like a, if you can imagine Russell Latifi as like a piggy bank, this is what this structure looks like. And they paid someone a lot of money to do it. Really funny. Here's another point though. Like, do you think football hit its heyday in the 1990s?
Depends, because it changed, because it's now modern football.
Maybe
I hate
Scottish
it.
football.
My problem now is there's way too much tactics to the game. There's way too much thinking. These players are just robots now as to, setting up triangles and...
I don't know, it's a different kind
It's
of sport.
yeah.
than what
It's
it
just
was.
modern day football, isn't it?
Rubbish. It's rubbish. It's destroyed. The brilliant things you used to see were like individuality, for example. Just Maradona taking the ball and running for miles. And there are still players that can do that. But these days it's more about passing, getting possession, getting the numbers forward, and like...
It'll change again though, because that's starting to come to an end. It's changing again. So
I would just like to see more footballers thinking for themselves. I think we just ban managers. See what happens. Ban managers. I'd like to know how they would play on their own. Just
go out and do your own thing.
it'd make it more unpredictable. That's for sure. If someone wanted to bomb forward, who's to stop you? No one on the touchline shouting at you. You not buy that argument, John?
A weird conversation.
Save money. But this is the thing. Scottish football, we're short of cash. Let's just cut unnecessary staff. Self-employed. Players. Self-employed.
Run about for 20 of them, run about.
Sounds good. Junior football. Anyway, I think that about brings us to the end of our show, doesn't it?
I'd say so, yeah.
So thank you very much. I turned back and faced this way for the first time after an hour. Thank you very much for tuning in. If it is something you've enjoyed, give us a like, follow and subscribe. If you want the full episode, we're of course up on iTunes, Google Play and any of your other favourite podcasting services, so go and subscribe, it helps us out a lot. Anyway, a thank you from me, Paul.
Thank you from Darren.
Cheers, guys.
And join us again next week for our season previews. Bye bye.